You know, this is one of those topics that no one really wants to think about, but if you're a parent, a homeowner, married, or helping take care of aging parents, it's something that honestly deserves a little attention. I'm talking about estate planning. And before you tune out thinking it's complicated or expensive, that's actually why I want to mention Trust and Will. Trust and Will makes estate planning feel way less intimidating than it sounds. They offer modern, attorney-designed wills and trusts that you can create online. And the process is surprisingly straightforward. In fact, you can create a will in as little as 30 minutes. That includes things like guardianship for your kids or pets, how your assets are distributed, and even healthcare directives. Don't wait until it's too late. Protect your loved ones with Trust and Will, the most trusted name in online estate planning. Go to trustandwill.com/future to get 20% off. That's trustandwill.com/future for 20% off. trustandwill.com/FUTURE.
This is Money Moves on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Back here on Money Moves, kicking off hour 2, live in downtown Las Vegas, Circa Resort and Casino. Stormy, Buonantony, Jonathan Von Tobel with you. 1 hour in, one more to go. Lots to get to, including 9 games in the NBA tonight. We've also got 6 in the NHL. Plenty of college hoops conversation. We'll do our final 4 picks coming up in the next segment. We'll also have VSiN's own Ben Stevens with some of his best bets in college hoops. We're going to cruise through as many games as humanly possible because we are participating in the Bet the Bracket Challenge here at VSiN as well. And I am sorry that I'm not going to be here for a good chunk of the tournament as you're going through here to make these picks each and every round. However, I'm here for the first round, which is the most dense. So there we go.
Not going to say anything. Not going to say anything.
Listen, we got things to do, people to say. Did want to hit on a tweet real quickly as well.
To pick.
Colin Murphy, but I didn't, and that's what you don't understand. Colin Murphy tweeting at us, Stormy, I'm with you. Texas Tech is a gritty, tough team. They roll. Also haven't heard a single person make a case for Louisville. USF is a dog with fleas. So a couple layers to that. Yes, I'm glad that I finally have somebody that is on board with me with Texas Tech. From the Louisville angle, we did get the news this morning that Michael Brown, who was their star player, there was questions about whether or not he might be available after missing the ACC tournament for the NCAA tournament. That answer is no.
Yeah, that's going to be the problem. Second leading scorer, but at 18.2 points per game is a really big deal.
They're a
to not
different
have
team
out
with
there.
and without him.
Correct. So I think that the USF one at least makes a little bit more sense. So our picks for the first round of the NCAA tournament for the Circa College Hoops Challenge, there's a lot of different things going
There's
on.
so many.
But the Circa College Hoops Challenge, which has quite a few of us that are competing, just like we did last year, our picks are due by the end of the day today as well. I won't give away all 15 of mine, but one of them was actually playing a little bit of strategy. I did lay 7.5 with Texas Tech in the contest.
You did?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean,
I'm rubbing off on you, I think.
With that, and because I think you're right, and we've discussed this. Do I think Akron can pull it off? Yes, all these sort of things. But from a contest standpoint, and it's a really, there's 15 picks here in the first round, but
you want to go against
honest,
the grain a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, we only have the first round, the weekend, and then as we get into the NCAA tournament, we're going to be running down a roadway here pretty soon. So I figured I'm willing to bet Akron's going to be a relatively popular pick in our contest. So let's just see if I can play against it and maybe gain a leg, if you will, by laying 7.5 with Texas Tech. So that was one of the ones I used for the contest. Maybe we'll use it.
Maybe. I think we should. Also, and I understand, though, Colin, where you're coming from. USF is another one of those just really, really popular dogs right now. And again, we said it earlier, we just keep on hearing the same names. And if everybody's thinking the same thing, are you really thinking and all of that? That said, we were all thinking the big favorites were going to cash on the money line yesterday for those parlays, and it comes through yet again. We've got plenty of options today in the NBA to move it forward. Obviously, Gil Alexander calls them, Tank of Palooza, the brain-dead parlays, but they've been cashing more often than not this season. Are you going back to the well today? Anything you want to piece together and see if you can get even money or better?
Yeah, so our one hit yesterday that we were discussing, correct? I mean, again, this is the tough part about the end of the year, too, in the NBA. Golden State catching, they're not a tanking team, but we got the news yesterday. Curry's going to be out for an extended period of time. 12.5 point spread. Oklahoma's laying 17.5 against Brooklyn. Portland's laying 12.5 against Indiana. Minnesota's laying 13.5 against Utah. 13.5 spread for Denver as well. And if you want to include Atlanta taking on Dallas, Atlanta is laying 8.5 here today too. Given the success of these, it is hard to turn away.
It's like, just keep doing it.
Sure, especially if you've been playing them. That's always one big thing that I talk about a lot, which is, we talk about these streaks where you pick a streak or pick a run that there's a betting run on, and you go, well, I'm going to get in. It's 17-0 now. It's like, well, you're 17 games in and you're just jumping on the train, probably not the best for you. But
if you've been getting the ROI, if you've been building the bankroll on these bad boys, why not just keep going until it dies?
I would agree. So we've been talking about this a lot. If you want to, I think it makes some sense. Again, one of the good things for you here, I guess if you want to call it a good thing, is that you have the added benefit of having some lopsided matchups in the first round of the NCAA tournament. You can add to the back end of the parlay if you want to help a little bit. But as we talked about yesterday, I think after we put together the moneyline parlay in the NBA, we threw on Duke to jump it from plus 105 to plus 107. So it's not like you're really getting anything that's really worth your while, considering how big a favorite some of these teams are. But you look at some of the big ones, it's hard to turn away from it, and you can get a little risky here. But do you want to throw in some of these other teams like a Toronto on the road against Chicago, who are laying 7, is an option you can have as well.
Chicago, I told you, ever since I made that proclamation, they were a little bit more plucky, upsetting some of those parlays lately. However, I do think from an advantage standpoint that one makes sense as well. I wanted to ask you one more follow-up real quickly before we move on from NBA.
I do think that since you made the proclamation you were going to fade them, they are 6-2 against the spread.
So kill me. But to be fair, I was fading them before that as well. I was just saying after that win over Milwaukee, I wasn't just going to stop. And so, yes, although I did end up stopping.
Yeah.
Once you lose 2 in a row, then I don't want to do it anymore.
Sure.
That's kind of been my philosophy with those kind of things more often than not. But I wanted to ask you about the Thunder here real quickly, because they beat the Magic yesterday, 9th straight win. Don't cover, though. And they were laying 10.5, trailed a good chunk of the game, even end up winning by 5. The ATS numbers for OKC have not been good down the stretch. Of those 9 straight wins, just 1 cover this past weekend, the lone game against Minnesota. And I know SGA's scoring 40 and doing all this unbelievable stuff, but the cover numbers haven't been there. Should that be a level of concern for OKC at this point in the season?
No, it's just that the market thinks they're really, really good.
Okay.
If you were losing games, then I think you're worried, but they're on this winning streak for a reason. They're also priced the way that they are for a reason. And I don't think I would be worried by the fact that they're not covering some of these games, because some of the point spreads we're talking about here during this stretch are pretty tough. I mean, they were a 16.5-point favorite against Dallas. They were a 12.5 point favorite against Golden State. You're laying 9 against Boston. You're laying 8.5 against Minnesota. I mean, those are 2 teams, and actually they covered the 8.5 against Minnesota. But Boston specifically is a team competing for one of the top seeds in the Eastern Conference, and you're at home laying 9 against them. So this is just, I think, a symptom of being a very highly power-rated team. Interestingly, though, as we have discussed, we'll tie in college basketball, UConn has had the same issues. But I think you view them much differently because the level of competition has not really been there for UConn, and they're not covering some of those numbers, and the market won't really adjust on what they've been. So I don't think I'm worried about OKC. And a big reason for some of their struggles earlier in the year, and we say struggles, they're the 1 seed right now in the Western Conference, have been injury-related.
Yeah.
And they're working a lot of guys back into the rotation over the last few games.
And, hey, to UConn's credit, they did start covering more numbers the last handful of games. I think they were 4 of their last 5 or 4 of their last 6, whatever it was. And, of course, we know that tournament cover streak that they're on, 14 straight dating back the last 2 years, ATS. How about Alex Caruso trying to defend with his shoe, by the way,
yesterday? I give it to him. Hell yeah. Why not? Second
weirdest thing I've seen with a shoe the last couple weeks. I told you the story off air about my little sister.
Oh, yes.
I go to drop this girl. So I have for anyone who doesn't know, I have an 11-year-old younger sister, and book smart as all get out. Common sense, not there whatsoever. I take her to the airport, drop her off. I look down as she needs to tie her shoe, because she always needs to tie her shoes. And I'm like, is that my shoe? Are you wearing my shoe? And she goes, no, I'm not. And then she steps up, and she's wearing one of my shoes and one of hers. Didn't even notice. 2 completely different shoes. Unbelievable.
Bright future ahead of her.
Oh, God love her. Neither here nor there. Let's get to the NHL real quickly. We had another really interesting swing in the Pacific Division last night. I swear to you, throw a dart in this freaking division. Whoever's going to win, I have no idea.
Yeah, brother. Big win for the Edmonton Oilers yesterday.
Edmonton beat San Jose. Vegas loses to Buffalo. So Edmonton is now in a tie points-wise with Anaheim at 77. Ducks have the edge, though, because they have more straight-up wins. Vegas in third with 76. Sharks are a point out of the wild card now. Mammoth and Kraken currently in those spots with 76 and 71 points, respectively. But Kings also in there with 71. I just mentioned San Jose 70. Nashville even with 69. So who knows who's ultimately going to get that final wild card spot. As for tonight, however, I am not looking in the Pacific Division. Although, quick update, Flyers-Ducks, worth noting, news for Anaheim today. Troy Terry, who just got back from an upper body injury, was really key in their win over Montreal over the weekend, had a goal, 2 assists. He was not on the ice for practice yesterday, and all of the reports were it was a maintenance day. Today, he wasn't on the ice for morning skate either. So I would expect him to be out again today. awaiting further information on that. They're a minus 155 favorite today against the Flyers. No interest in this game. Total 6.5. Lean a little bit over. I could see this being clunky. That said, game of the night, bar none. Stars Avs. And I am absolutely pumped for this. The two best teams in the NHL right now. Avs the leader in the clubhouse for the President's Trophy. Dallas could catch them, though. Colorado's got 97 points. Dallas with 94. Both teams also in a bounce-back spot after home losses. We saw the Avs have a rough one the other day against the Pittsburgh Penguins, 7-2. Stars had their hot streak come to an end. They lost 6-3 to Utah. Prior to that, had not lost a game in regulation since January 22nd. They were 14-0-1 over that stretch, which included a shootout win over Dallas in that time on March 6th. Jonathan Davis was actually texting me last night a little bit about some of the regular season history numbers between these two. High scoring aplenty. In the two meetings this year, both games went to a shootout after 4-4 regulation result. 5-4 split ultimately in terms of wins and losses. Total goals dating back even farther. So both of those, though, 9 goal finishes in all. 7, 9, 8, 11, 6, 9, 9, 7, 10. So these have all been high scoring. So you can get a flat 6 at a handful of shops across the market. You get plus money on a couple of those over 6.5s as well. So look to see what you want to do. I prefer the flat 6 because you get an opportunity for a push, and then the 7 is going to be the win on either side of that. Don't have a firm opinion on who wins this thing or not. Colorado minus 148 home favorite, which makes sense. You can get Dallas at plus money, plus 124. Similar to the conversation about Buffalo yesterday. When you get a team that's this good at plus money, it is very attractive regardless of the situation. We're going to have a ton of star power in that one, though. I'm so excited. Got Nathan McKinnon, Cale Makar, Jason Robertson, Wyatt Johnson. It's going to be fun. Get ready.
Relax.
I can't help myself. I have another best bet in the NHL we'll get to at the end of the hour here, but a reminder, as obviously the NCAA tournament is king right now. We're talking so much college basketball. Forget the bracket. Profit X is making March Madness a whole new level with the King of March. Profit X is giving you a shot to become the king with free trips worth up to 10 grand. Here's how it works during the tournament. Win 10 different pregame spreads or totals across 67 games. Hit the volume goal on wins or losses, and you're entered to win a trip of your choice. Hit $1,000 in total volume. You're entered for $5K trip, $10,000 in volume, a $10K trip. That's how it works. We're talking flights, hotels, wherever you want to go. Covered up to those amounts. It's simple. Download Profit X today. Create an account. Promo code VSiNMM will take you there. Win 10. Hit the volume. Earn your shot. Every additional 10 you hit earns another shot. Sign up today. Code VSiNMM, VSINMM, and compete to become the King of March. Only on Profit X. Can I be a Queen of March?
Hey, let me get your attention real quick, podcast listeners. It's March, which means the madness is officially upon us, and the folks at VSiN have really gone crazy with this one. I'm being told that for just $29.99, you can get unlimited access to VSiN Pro through May 1st. I'm talking picks through the tournament, public betting data for every single game, plus sharp tools, projections, articles, and more, which means every day you wait is an opportunity missed. Just click the link in the description to get started. It's March, baby. All right, now back to the show.
You know, this is one of those topics that no one really wants to think about, but if you're a parent, a homeowner, married, or helping take care of aging parents, it's something that honestly deserves a little attention. I'm talking about estate planning. And before you tune out thinking it's complicated or expensive, that's actually why I want to mention Trust and Will. Trust and Will makes estate planning feel way less intimidating than it sounds. They offer modern, attorney-designed wills and trusts that you can create online. And the process is surprisingly straightforward. In fact, you can create a will in as little as 30 minutes. That includes things like guardianship for your kids or pets, how your assets are distributed, and even healthcare directives. Don't wait until it's too late. Protect your loved ones with Trust and Will, the most trusted name in online estate planning. Go to trustandwill.com/future to get 20% off. That's trustandwill.com/future for 20% off. trustandwill.com/future.
You're watching Money Moves here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
On Money Move, Stormy Buonantony, Jonathan Von Tobel with you. Lots of talk about college basketball and this time of year. If you want to put your March tournament knowledge to the test at the highest level, we got something fun going on for you right now. Splashboard's offering $1 million in guaranteed contest prizes in a high-stakes survivor contest. Listen to this, guys. $1,000 to enter, but $1 million on the line. It's very similar to NFL Survivor that we talk so much about throughout the course of the year, but focused on the big dance. You make one pick a day, can't use the same team twice, which gives you that little bit of strategery going on. Outlast everybody else, and you're in for a share of $1 million. Plus, right now, new players using the promo code VSiN MM26 get a 50% deposit match up to $100, a free Quick Picks entry up to 20 on them, plus a 100% Quick Picks payout boost on any entry up to $20. Entries close March 19th. That's tomorrow. Don't wait. Get in there now. Splashsports.com/VSiN, code VSiN MM26. Must be 21 or older. Available in select states only, but get in there before the dance gets going. Let's have a little fun with the Survivor contest. We're rolling along here. Speaking of course, Circa Resort and Casino, where we're broadcasting home of the world's largest NFL Survivor contest throughout the course of the year. The basketball side, very, very fun. And I know we have some basketball news, though, not tournament-wise. NBA?
Yeah, I'm just going to make a comment that I wish that you would take the same tone that you take with Justin and myself and some of our crew behind the scenes with your tax guy as well. I'm just going to say, all right, bow up with some other folks, okay? Maybe not the ones that have your best interest at heart. All right, we got some breaking news.
No one at home knows what you're talking about.
Of course not. The Milwaukee Bucks, according to Shams Charania, want Giannis Antetokounmpo to shut down for the remainder of the season after his latest injury and the team's playoff chances have dwindled. Okay.
Bet a money line next game?
There is a but.
What's a but?
Antetokounmpo has refused the team's request and wants to play again, according to Shams Charania. He goes on to say there have been multiple meetings over Antetokounmpo's status in the last 24 hours since his hyperextended knee, and a disagreement has ensued between the sides on whether it is best for him to return.
What is this?
Just get rid of it. Just stop, dude. It's so annoying. Just get rid of him. I shouldn't say get rid because he's a good player, but this whole saga. This is a divorce. This is a marriage. Like you're staying together for the kids. No, man, just choose your own happiness and move on. Just move on.
So
it's so annoying.
Since Giannis is playing, and they keep losing with him on the court, should we bet them? That was my initial thought. Because, of course, for whatever reason, when Giannis wasn't playing, they were actually winning games as a dog. Now that he's playing again, they're not. That said, they're playing the Jazz tomorrow.
Well, I mean, but I don't think he's going to be available, so that's going to be the problem.
Oh, so he's not in the short term?
Yeah, no, he's out.
For
so
sure
he's
not.
out at least. So this came down yesterday. He's out at least 1 week due to the knee injury.
Okay.
So there's that. The problem is, and the disagreement is
the long term.
Yes, they want him to be done.
Dude.
They are right now.
Giannis, just hang it up, man.
I mean, it's also, you're just being, you're being argumentative to be argumentative. You understand what's going on here. To put this in perspective and what the Bucks want here, they are currently 28-40. They are further behind Memphis, so I don't think they're going to get a little bit further up the odds, or excuse me, the draft odds, the lottery odds. But they do want to avoid slipping past Chicago. They're not going to get past Portland, but there's that dynamic between them and Chicago right now that, look, percentage chances are exactly that. The Dallas Mavericks got the first overall pick with a 1% chance to get the first overall pick. So you want as many percentage points as possible, obviously, and they don't want that to happen. They just want to shut them down. So we'll see. But this is getting annoying. Just break up. You ever been friends with a couple that always argues in public?
Oh, my gosh, yes. They are divorced now, so I think it was the best for all parties.
There we go.
So I think that's what you might need to do out there, Milwaukee.
Just
went on a vacation with them. It was tough.
Just choose your happiness.
Note to self.
Sometimes you don't need to stay together.
Don't go on a couple's vacation with a couple that hates each other. Yeah. Before we get to our final four picks, which we will hit here quickly, I want you to hear this soundbite because I did find it interesting. Bruce Pearl, former Auburn head coach, was on VSiN by the Books earlier this morning with Dave and Jensen. And they were asking about maybe one of these lower level teams, if they have a star player that could push them above to a national championship contender. I found Pearl's answer pretty interesting. Take a listen.
No, they're not there. Like Arizona, Michigan, Florida, or Houston, and Duke or St. John's. I think those are the teams that are going to get there. So there's going to be a lot of chalk like there was last year. You can look really hard for Cinderella if you want to, but I don't think she's there. I just think the best teams in the country are too good, too tested, too deep. And I don't think there's anything wrong with it. Now, we're going to see some fun first-round upsets. We are. And we saw 2 great games last night, 2 games that came down to the last possession. And so the tournament is delivering. It always has, and it always will.
Again, VSiN by the book, 7 to 10 Eastern every weekday. But I wanted to hear that to kind of set the table for our Final Fours, as it is time to take a bite of the bracket. If you want to throw that open going, guys. Oh, look at that. Oh, shark. Ah. Very intense. I like it. But we are pretty chalky in our Final Four predictions as well. And these are all available as part of our March Mania betting guide, as well as our best bets for the tournament and beyond. But let's get to your Final Four predictions here, JVT.
All right, out of the East, it is a bear of a bracket out in the East. But I do think that because of the injuries at the top with Duke and the shorthanded nature, we'll go with Michigan State to make it out of the East. They will take on Florida, who makes it out of the South for me, although I am liking more and more what Vandy brings to the table. On the other side, Arizona, you've heard me. I believed in them pretty much all year long. I refuse to back down now, as they have proven to be the best team, I think, in the country. Michigan has an easy draw. So if you're doing the math at home, Stormy, you got 3 1 seeds, according to me, and a 3 seed here. Still gets me under my prop of 9.5 total sums of the seeds in the Final Four. Florida and Arizona face off in the national championship, and Florida, although they go for the repeat, falls short to my Arizona Wildcats.
All right. I like it. I do, actually. I think that is all of that is entirely possible. Michigan State, I think, is interesting and probably a fun pick to get to the Final Four, because that bracket does feel more up for grabs. That said, I did still roll with Duke here. I know they've had their injury issues, but looking at even what they were able to do in the ACC tournament to go out there and win and beat Virginia the way that they did, I was really impressed with how they were able to put things together. And I think throughout the course of the tournament, they'll continue to build on that, and they will ultimately prevail in a year that they get that number 1 overall seed. I have them going down and winning it all, as you see, as that bracket comes through. That said, Houston, for me, is the team I have coming out of the South. On the West side, Purdue, which we talked about a little bit earlier on, just liking that path a little bit for them and seemingly becoming, over the course of the last little bit here in the Big Ten tournament, the team that everyone had billed as the preseason number 1 team in the country is actually starting to play like it all of a sudden. So could they continue that into the tournament? I hope so, but I have them losing to Michigan ultimately in the Final Four. My final, Duke, Michigan, that path in the bracket for the Wolverines. I mean, we did the head-to-head conversation a little bit earlier, and they were odds on to advance farther for a reason. So that's my matchup. I like Duke getting it done, although we were doing some of those trends yesterday with the number 1 overall seed and the top seeds together, all those things, and made me a little bit dicey feeling about some of these selections. That said, I'm sticking to the guns. That's the Final Four. Let's roll.
I like your Final Four because it is unique.
Thank you.
It is. I mean, there's not many that pick Duke to win the whole thing, given the injuries. Houston, Purdue, Michigan. Obviously, you've talked a lot about Purdue, so there's a unique nature to this Final Four.
Get a little bit of a chip on your shoulder when you're the number 1 overall seed and people are doubting you.
All right, I have put in Texas Tech -7.5 as our first of our round of 64 selections.
Okay. So do we have to go?
We don't have to go in order. It doesn't matter. No,
I
mean, I would say it helps to go in order of a rotation or something, so we can just check the boxes as to did we hit that game. So whether you want to pull up the time schedule or whatever it is, and we'll get back to this when we get to best bets too. For our entry, we have a team entry here. And Justin, feel free. You are part of the show. So if you have anything, let us know.
Chime in our ear as we're going through if you have a strong disagreement. So we got one. That's what we'll do at the end of the hour today is we'll go through each and every one. You want to see if we can add a couple more, though, in the last 90 seconds?
Is there ones that we feel strongly about that we agree on?
I can't remember if you already had an opinion on TCU Ohio State, because just looking at the time tomorrow, that's
like
one
TCU.
of the. I'm good with that.
Okay.
So you want to do TCU plus the points?
Okay.
Troy, Nebraska.
It would be Troy for me or nothing. I used them in the Circa Friday or the Circa College Hoops Challenge.
I'm good with that. Take the 12.5.
Okay.
Not to say Nebraska is going to lose, though, ladies and gentlemen, okay? I just like the points angle. All right. Of course, the next one is South Florida, Louisville. We were just talking about. No Michael Brown for Louisville. South Florida, very popular dog. Total, though, you can play totals as well. It's a side or total.
It also matters what number we're getting. Is it 5.5, I believe, is the one that we were getting in the South Florida game? So we'll have to double check, because if it's 5.5, the market's at 4.5. It's worth taking.
Okay.
In the Circa College Hoops Challenge, it is 5.5, which is why I use South Florida.
Okay.
So we'll put an asterisk.
Put a
next to that
tentative.
one. There you go.
High Point, Wisconsin. So that's not the number that you liked initially, but 10.5 is the number.
It was 10.5?
Yep.
I would take that.
All right. We're dog heavy so far.
There we go.
Let's keep it rolling. That's 4 straight dogs.
Okay, cool. And the contest number is South Florida plus 5.5. So we get a little bit of a point there. Probably will be a popular selection, but that's fine.
All right. Do we want to lay the hefty number with Duke against Siena?
They're your national champion. I will lay that out for you. I did not have an opinion there. How about we think about it? I think our colleague Ben Stevens is coming up.
That's a good note. Okay, let's step aside here real quickly. Plenty more to get to, but hey, proud of us. We just cruised through 5. Only 15 more to go. On that note, Ben Stevens is going to join us next. He's got plenty of best bets in the opening round of the tournament. See what he might have for the first 4 tonight and who's his final 4 when all is said and done. Stick around.
You're watching Money Moves here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Oh, what a day. Back here on Money Moves, Stormy, Buonantony, Jonathan Von Tobel with you. This segment presented by Upside. You can download the free Upside app today. Earn real cash every time you fill up the gas tank. And promo code SPORTS when you sign up right now. Get 25 cents back per gallon on your first tank. Excited to have our good buddy Ben Stevens join us here on the Progressive Guest Line. VSiN host, live bet Saturday and Sunday here on the network every weekend. And Ben, are you a big Lord of the Rings person? Because I was just being reprimanded by JVT and our producer Justin in the commercial break for quoting something from Lord of the Rings that was not from the specific movie of the trilogy that they were discussing.
Stormy, I'm not the biggest Lord of the Rings fan. In fact, one of my best friends is a huge Lord of the Rings fan. And when I have told him I have only seen the first movie and it was about 25 years ago, he got really upset with me. This was a conversation we had just a few weeks ago. In fact, when you did the "You Shall Not Pass," I thought that was more Dumbledore from Harry Potter, but I guess it is Gandalf.
Yeah, the problem is I made a
I'm
reference.
glad I have you.
I made a reference to Lord of the Rings: The Two Towers, the second film, the end of the movie, the climactic Battle of Helm's Deep, where Gandalf the White comes in and saves everybody at the end. You made a reference to Gandalf the Grey when he dies in the Mines of Moria in the first movie.
Silly me.
Very disappointing to hear all of that. But
I guess you know what this means we need to do?
watch
We
them.
got to have a Lodermar.
A what?
Lord of the Rings marathon.
Oh, my God. As long as we watch the extended 4-hour version of every movie. I tried to do that the other day. I can't do that. Anyway, continue.
All right, let's get into a little college hoops here, Ben, because you see all of the university flags behind you. I know you got strong opinions on all of these games. Let's go first to some of these early bets that you placed in the first round. As soon as these numbers came down, were you jumping on things right away? Did you want to see the market shift a little bit? Where'd you go?
I jumped on things right away, including a couple of totals that I love for Thursday in the round of 64. Basically, we got the spreads as the first thing. The money line started to filter in, and then those totals as the bracket was revealed on Sunday evening. So 2 of the totals that I am on to the over have worked my direction. That could mean absolutely nothing by the time we reach the game's conclusion tomorrow afternoon. But the first one, Stormy, was a game that I had circled for a while with a team that I have circled for a while, that being Brian Hodgson and his USF Bulls. I love the style of play that they play with this year. 16th fastest team in the country, length, athleticism. Hodgson, a disciple of Nate Oates. That means they shoot a lot of threes. They like to do it at a proficient rate. That means points. Who are they playing on the other side? The Louisville Cardinals, who take more than 53% of their overall field goal attempts this year from three-point range. It is the 4th highest three-point rate in the country. It's what Pat Kelsey and his Cards want to do. Now, obviously, the loss of Michael Brown due to the back injury for Louisville, the outstanding freshman point guard, could hamper not only Louisville's chances of seeing the round of 32, but potentially this point total. I still lean to the over 163.5. It's 164 and a hook as we currently speak. And you see the Big Ten flags behind me. Welcome back, Fran McCaffrey, to Big Ten territory, taking on Illinois and his old buddy in Brad Underwood. We saw Penn and TJ Power put on full display their offensive prowess in that Ivy League championship game on Sunday. I don't think it's just power. It's the pace that Penn plays with, one of the 90 fastest teams in college basketball. I think they pace up Illinois, who is the second most efficient offense in the country. In fact, now the second most efficient offense we have seen in the 25-year sample size of the Ken Pom era. So I jumped on this total early as well on Sunday evening at 149 and a hook. It's 151 and a half. Let's add in one more bucket, and everybody gets some points tomorrow.
All right, let's talk about a game that was set last night. Seems like it's going to be fun on paper. I actually used the same play that you have here for our Circuit College Hoops Challenge coming up this Friday, or excuse me, tomorrow. It's always on Fridays. Texas BYU. What do you make of the way that this game is going to get played, Ben?
Yeah, Jonathan, when you look at it, I have a lot of overs in the opening round, which kind of scares me. I am not necessarily a public overwheel type of player, but I do think just based on matchups and how these teams have constructed their plan of attack through the entirety of a college basketball season, you can find those edges, of course, in terms of who is going to win the game, how competitive the game is, and the style of play that often leads to a ton of points. BYU is atrocious on the defensive end of the floor. The loss of Richie Saunders has really driven home that point for Kevin Young and his Cougs this year, but they were not ever all that great defensively throughout this college basketball season. Texas, despite a slow-scoring game yesterday in the first four in Dayton against NC State, also not great defensively, but often is very good offensively, efficient and taking a ton of threes. Both of these teams love to hoist from deep because of that. This was a game that I circled. Basically, whoever won last night inside UD Arena in the potential matchup against BYU in the opening round, I was going to be looking to the over of that total. Let's go over 157.5.
VSiN host and analyst Ben Stevens joining us here on the Progressive Guest Line. Another total that has moved in your direction, a 14-3 with Penn and Illinois. We're up to 151.5 now. How do you feel about that number, and break down what got you on the over?
Yeah, I don't mind it, Stormy, in terms of still betting to the over. We're talking about one more basket, one more made three, and potentially it's that one more made three is the reason I like the Illini and the Quakers playing to the over. Fran McCaffrey's style is they want to play fast. Now, Penn doesn't necessarily love shooting the three, fewer than 33% of their attempts this year from beyond the three-point arc, but they're one of the 15 best three-point shooting teams in all of college hoops, 38.7% in that Ivy League tournament title game and the upset over Yale. They were 14 of 28 from three, 14 made triples. I think they will do enough against an Illinois defense that has had some issues this season. In fact, it is the thing that maybe holds me back from an earlier take in early February that the Fighting Illini might be the Big Ten's best chance of winning a national championship. That is now Michigan, in my opinion. I would like to see what Illinois does defensively to try to slow down TJ Power and Penn, but because of the pace the Quakers are playing as the hefty underdog, I expect that to ratchet things up for the Illini. Love to shoot the three. And again, one of the best offenses that we have seen in the nearly 3 decades of the Kenneth Pomeroy era, an offensive rating of 131.2, which was the best that we had ever seen in the Ken Pom era since 1997, until Purdue went on a magical 4-day run in Chicago to win the Big Ten tournament title. Now the Boilers enter the NCAA tournament with the most efficient offense in the country.
All right, let's go to one game that I think Stormy does have on our radar. We're going to use them because you like them so much. VCU is taking on North Carolina, Ben. What do you see here? It's catching 2.5.
Yeah, when you look at this game, it's another one of those spots, the 11-6, that everybody loves to look at from the underdog perspective. This was another game that I had circled early on Sunday. I am in love with what Phil Martelli Jr. has done in his opening year in Richmond, leading the Rams to an A-10 tournament title and, of course, an appearance in the NCAA tournament. And a lot of that is a fade of North Carolina. Now, they have not had Caleb Wilson in the lineup for the last 8 games, so some opportunities, of course, for the Heels to get adjusted to that style of play. But their net efficiency rating via CBB Analytics in the last 10 games, 8 of those 10 without Caleb Wilson, their stud freshman, their net rating is negative 0.8. Just to put things into context, most of the teams in the tournament, seeds 1 through 5, have a net rating around plus 25 or better. The best teams in the country around that plus 30 net rating or better. So in the last 10, North Carolina at negative 0.8, most of that without Caleb Wilson. I think North Carolina could struggle to generate what they need offensively. VCU incredibly efficient on both sides of the basketball floor, and they are very, very balanced. I like this Rams team to pull off the ever so slight upset over North Carolina and see the round of 32.
Okay, let's look to tonight as the first 4 rolls on out there in Dayton. Yesterday, we saw 2 down-to-the-wire games. Will we get more of the same today? A short spread in Lehigh Prairie View. Lehigh laying 3.5, total 142.5 right now. And then in the second part of the doubleheader, Miami of Ohio, who is everybody's question mark. Will they get in? Will they not? A 7.5-point dog against another bubble team in SMU, total 161.5. Anything you ended up playing on or at least considering tonight?
Yeah, I think I'm going to back the underdogs in Miami. I know it feels like a very public play, and maybe some of that is the public desire for Miami, Ohio. Perfect, unblemished, 31-0 in the regular season to prove its muster now in the NCAA tournament. I think they just drew a really good first four matchup against SMU, a Stangs team that relies mostly on offense, top 25 in the country in terms of their offensive efficiency, but 91st on the defensive side of the floor. That's going to favor Miami. Fifth best effective field goal percentage in the country, better than 59%. Second best two-point shooting team in the sport, better than 61% from that area of the floor. And they're a top 23-point shooting team as well. If Miami was playing a slower, grind-you-out defensive kind of style, I probably would look to fade the Redhawks in this spot. But Miami catching 7.5, especially with SMU, and potentially, as he remains questionable, not having one of their best players in B.J. Edwards, I think Miami keeps this game close and competitive tonight. So I'll take the Redhawks plus 7.5. That is what I want to happen. And as I was breaking down the game systematically, it's kind of what I think happens tonight in Dayton as well.
Ben, you're the man. Thank you for this. We appreciate you. Real quick, 10 seconds before you go. Can you give us your final four?
Yeah, final four is this: Michigan, Arizona, Duke, and Houston. I have Arizona over Duke winning a national championship. Everybody loves Arizona right now, Stormy. It scares me.
Boom, 203 on the desk here. JVT's with you on the Wildcats. Ben Stevens, everybody, make sure you check him out this weekend, especially with all of the action going on. VSiN's live bet Saturday and Sunday, 3 to 6 Eastern every weekend. Remember, everybody, as well, as you're going to fill up your tank, you could be getting cash back. What are you doing? If you don't have the Upside app, you're missing out. You can download it from the App Store or Google Play Store. Promo code SPORTS right now will get you an extra 25 cents back per gallon on your first fill up. Download Upside today. Promo code SPORTS. Get that 25 cent per gallon bonus. Offers vary by user and location. Check out upside.com for more details. Headed back to the contest corner after this as we wrap up this Wednesday edition of Money Moves.
You're watching Money Moves here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
About this a little bit earlier. Every show here on the network is part of the VSiN March contest. We hope all of you are getting involved as well, where we have to make picks on every single game throughout the course of the tournament. So here for the first round, it's 20 picks, whether it is a spread, side, or total. We have to make a selection on every single game. We've been trying to cruise through.
We have locked in 10. We have 4 maybes. Although I think one of the maybes I am wrong. South Florida plus 5.5. I think I put the asterisk there because we didn't know the number, but it's officially 5.5. Are we good with that, correct?
Yes.
Okay, we're locking that in as well. So we have 3 maybes and 11 plays.
So it's 20 picks, obviously, in the round of 64, 10 in the second round, 5 in the round of 6 in the Sweet 16. It's funny, like my document says, round of 16. In the Sweet 16, 4 in the Elite 8, and then 3 picks in the Final 4. So that is how we parse things out throughout the course of the tournament. Lots of picks to be made, but obviously this is the big one.
Now, we left off with Houston. Personally, I will read for our audience. So the ones we have locked in: Speak Now or Forever Hold Your Peace. Texas Tech minus 7.5 against Akron. TCU plus 2.5 against Ohio State. Troy plus 13 against Nebraska. South Florida plus 5.5 against Louisville. Thank you for stopping the slapping bit. Kansas minus 14.5 against Cal Baptist. VCU plus 2.5 against North Carolina. Vanderbilt minus 11 against McNeese. North Dakota State plus 16.5 against Michigan State. Texas BYU over 158. Penn Illinois over 149.5. And Houston minus 23.5. Those are the ones that we have agreed on and will lock in. Our maybes so far: High Point plus 9.5. St. Mary's minus 3. Georgia minus 2.5.
I do think if you're just looking for a bet on that Houston-Idaho game too, Idaho team total under could be a look. We talked about this a little bit earlier in the week. I don't see Houston's defense letting them breathe. Total in that game, 136, but obviously we're going with the side on that one. Continuing to cruise through as we got to make some more of these selections. Kentucky laying 3.5 against Santa Clara. I know a lot of people think the Wildcats are susceptible, vulnerable. Do you?
I thought you were one of those two, right?
I didn't bet it.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, but on Pot of the Futures, I have fake news because I said that you like Santa Clara.
Oh.
I'll go Santa Clara.
Okay.
All right, there we go.
Plus
Look
3.5.
at that. All right.
We already have Akron, Texas Tech. All right, your Arizona Wildcats laying 31.5, total 152 against Long Island.
I mean, these big numbers are so tough. And then you get the really fun, good celebration of the Long Island Sharks during free throws. That could be very intimidating. But I will go with Arizona there.
Especially on Sharp Week.
Yeah.
Wright State, Virginia, 18.5, total 145.
Do not have an opinion on that one.
Neither do I. So
Okay.
we'll come back to
By
it.
the way, locking in Arizona and Santa Clara? Silence means no.
Sorry, were you locking in Arizona?
Yeah, I said I like Arizona.
That's up to you. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. I'm
All right.
good with it.
What's the
That's
number?
your team, 31.5.
All right, let's do it.
No opinion on Wright State, Virginia?
Nope. Other than it is a game that will be played.
Iowa State laying 25 against Tennessee State.
I used Iowa State in the contest for what that weight is worth.
Okay.
I will put it with an asterisk.
We're taking 13 with Hofstra.
Hoff, yes, that is a lock.
All right. So here's one I'm curious about. I would lay 2 with Utah State. Will you?
Sure.
My actual bet on Utah State is money line, but I feel comfortable with
Is
it.
it 2.5? You said? Or
Nope,
2?
flat 2.
Okay.
Iowa Clemson. You want to go under 129?
Sure. Yep. Okay. That is one I used for the contest as well.
Okay. Iowa St. John's. I lean laying it. I know a lot of people think the points with Northern Iowa is attractive, but
I have no opinion on that one.
I would lay it.
Okay. So we will replace one of our asterisk plays then, because we are full right now on our list. We have 20 plays listed, but we have 3 that are listed with an asterisk.
So we can narrow down, but let's pick them. Let's go through every game and then we can narrow down some we didn't love.
Okay. So that was what was that one?
St. John's minus 10.5.
You like St. John's minus 10.5? Gotcha.
UCLA, UCF, we're at 6, total 152.
UCF is one I used. UCF plus 6.
Queens, Purdue, 25.5, 163.5 the total. No opinion.
Oilers are your boys. Okay.
No opinion. These big spreads are a little tough. Kansas, Cal, BAP. We agreed on Kansas, though,
Yep,
right?
we already have them on the list.
Okay, great. Furman, UConn, 21.
I used Furman. But we don't have to. Again, that was just one I used for the contest. Chris Massero was on with us earlier this week and had a really good breakdown on this one as well.
Betting against the UConn ATS streak in the tournament.
Yeah.
Total 137 in that game. Missouri, Miami favored by 2, total 147.
Nothing.
I don't have anything there either. I could be talked into Furman, though.
Okay.
If that's a big number you like.
Well, talked into Furman again. We'll roll through these and get these sides, and we'll see what we have. Because again, we now have 5 plays. We have 5 plays that are asterisked. We have 15, if my math is correct.
Okay.
15 plus 5 is 20? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So.
Oh, we're done?
So then that's all of them, then,
Okay.
right? If
All
we
right.
have an asterisk on 5.
Okay. So then we're done. We've rolled through the list of games. So now we have to debate whether or not St. John's, UCF, Furman, those 3, if you would replace High Point, St. Mary's, Georgia, Santa Clara, and Iowa State. See, there you go. You got to think about these things. This is what
I wish I had them in front of me.
This is what team looks like.
Can you share this with me?
I mean, it's in the doc that we share as a group.
Oh, yeah,
but
yeah,
that's
yeah.
fine.
Well, then that's all you had to say. Jeez, don't yell at me.
This is what I work with every day, and yet you have the audacity to criticize our producers. As you roll through that. Yep, and she was in the truck. No appreciation for anything whatsoever. As you look at the Google Doc in which we share with each other every single day, I will go ahead and recap what I did yesterday, which I had nothing. But I will give my best bet if I could, crew, because I do only have one, and I did make a mistake in the document. And that's my fault, not yours. Miami, Ohio. Don't throw that up because that's a mistake. Miami, Ohio plus 7.5 is the bet for today against SMU. I may or may not have put SMU plus 7.5 in the document. Please don't put that in the official plays, because that mistake was made one time, and then somebody sent me a nasty tweet.
Okay.
It wasn't fun.
How much do you like High Point at 9.5?
I don't.
Let's do Furman.
Okie dokie.
The rest of them I'm good with, unless you're you feel some type of way about St. John's or UCF.
Mm-hmm. Got it. There's a good tweet.
What?
At me, JVT, being a gentleman, letting Stormy Buonantony get some picks in before she mails it in for the rest of the time.
Who tweeted this?
It's a good tweet, Brian. I like that.
Ay.
All right, you got hockey. What do you got today? I'll fix up the doc.
Yes, so I'm on the Blues money line here. Flames back home after a 5-game road trip. They did not do well on the road trip. Lone win against the lowly New Jersey Devils. They just lost 5-2 in Detroit. They're one of those teams that was a big deadline shipper offer. Kadri, Weegar, Rasmus Anderson, all gone. Blues, meanwhile, whether they wanted to or not, ended up hanging on to some of their best players. They tried to trade Colton Parayko, tried to trade Robert Thomas to the Buffalo Sabres. Neither of those ultimately got done, and they've been playing some pretty good hockey lately. A 1-goal loss in Winnipeg on Sunday, but rested and playing better, 7-1-1 in their 9 games prior. Plus, they've had really good success in this series. Looking in recent history, won 8 straight against Calgary, including both meetings this season, 4-2 and 3-2. So rolling with the Blues to get it done once again today. And then as we talked about a little bit earlier, that Stars Colorado Avalanche game feels like an over. Shout out Jonathan Davis. If you want to head over to VSiN.com today, he's going to have his breakdown like he does each and every day. throughout his cards on the NHL, was talking about some historical data in this series and just all of the goals that have been scored, including the 2 games in this year's regular season. They split the results on who won, but 5-4 finals in shootouts, both of the meetings earlier this year. Lots of star power, lots of goal potential in that game. So give me over the flat 6. You could also do the 6.5 angle if you wanted to get a little plus money. I laid -120 to get that flat number and an opportunity for a potential push should it come to that.
All right, that's everything you got today?
Yeah, yesterday 1 and 2, I won the hockey bet, but my first 4 bets, as I told you earlier, did not go great, which is why I'm staying away from the first 4 today.
All right, now, with that being said, much like at the wedding, same thing here. For those who object, stand now and make your voice heard. Texas Tech -7.5. TCU +2.5. Troy +13. South Florida +5.5. Furman +21. Kansas -14.5. VCU +2.5. Vandy -11. North Dakota State +16.5. Texas BYU over 158. St. Mary's -3. Penn, Illinois over 149.5. Georgia -2.5. Houston -23.5. Santa Clara +3.5. Arizona -31.5. Iowa State -25. Justin, thank you for the correction there. Hofstra +13. Utah State -2. And the Iowa Clemson game under 129. Those are our 20 selections.
Love that for us. Lock it in.
There we go.
Are you going to fill it out? Justin, are you filling it out? Do I need to fill it out?
Justin's already good.
Already done.
Yeah, that's what we do here. This is what happens when you work together.
I don't know why you're doing this to me right now. I work very hard.
Somebody's about to get mad. You stop doing
Please
this.
tweet at him. Stop being mean to me.
Don't do that to women.
I do want to say before we go here, very excited for our shows the next 2 days.
Yes.
We're going to have a blast over at the D at Bar Canada. Also on Friday, it'll be pretty fun. Mike Palm, he's got to be at the D anyways for some different tournament stuff. So we're going to have him on the desk in the chaos.
I will say, because, obviously a big part of these next few days is where you're going to go watch the games.
Yep.
That's always part of the conversation. I love going to the D. I think I go almost every single year for one of the 2 days. So absolutely fantastic setup. And, I know you have other plans, but I think on Friday, at least I will drag you up for 20 minutes or so.
Yeah, no, I want to. Like I said, I want to watch some games of the D. I want to watch some games here, obviously, at Circa as well. It's the world's largest freaking sports book. Out there, my husband has a bunch of friends that are in town for March Madness because, it's such a boys' trip. Everybody comes out this weekend. Stadium Swim's going to be popping, as always. It's beautiful over there. What's the face for?
Interesting trade right before we leave. The Panthers are trading quarterback Andy Dalton to the Eagles for a 7th-round pick. Now, while on the surface that doesn't mean much, they have Tanner McKee still on the roster. So it's an interesting trade, considering McKee was a hot commodity and people are calling the Eagles about him. So just see what it means.
I don't know. Bryce Young's got Kenny Pickett now. He didn't need Andy anymore. That's a wrap for us today. Again, excited to hang out with you guys tomorrow during the games. Lots of live betting angles to hit on. For more preview conversations, stick around. Follow the money with Mitch and Paul coming up after this.